Hey Top Shelfers, welcome to Behind the Bar, where we bring you guys historic cocktails that are enjoyed every day. As always, this is exclusive content for people on our email list as well as our locals patrons. Thank you so much for being part of the Top Shelf community. Today what we have for you is a cocktail known as Kutchma, which clearly has some Russian origins, and this comes out of our favorite recipe book, Just Cocktails, which comes out of 1939. It was copyrighted in 1939. Now, I was looking throughout the internet for the origins of this cocktail and I could not find it. So today we are just going to make up our own. I guess in 1939, Russia was in the throes of the European war that turned into World War II. They had a deal with the Nazis in order to have a non-aggression pact that would eventually be broken when Hitler invaded Russia, and then after the Battle of Stalingrad, Russia pressed back through into Germany. So a lot of things happening right around this time when the book was copyrighted. But the main reason why this is called Kutchma is because this drink features vodka, and vodka is clearly of Russian origin. Luckily, we have some Russian standard vodka here, so this is going to be our base. Now, as usual with our classic cocktails, we want to make sure that we serve this in a chilled glass. And for us, we are going to be using a standard cocktail glass. You could also use a coupe glass or a Nick and Nora glass or which have you. Just something that looks somewhat along these lines, something that looks nice and pretty. And we want to make sure that this glass is chilled. So instead of using a refrigerator, we're just going to use ice and water. So I've got some ice here. I'm going to pour that into my glass. I'm going to get a little bit more. Yeah, one more is good. And then we're going to pour in some water. This will chill down our glass while we make our cocktail. So as we put together all of our ingredients, this will be nice and chilled when we are ready to pour. So we're going to set this off to the side, let that continue to chill down, and let's get into our cocktail. Now, Kutchma starts off, of course, with vodka. Now, in this particular recipe book, they give me all of my directions in terms of you could throw in a jigger, you could throw in a pony, and those are different in amounts of ounces. For example, a pony is 1 ounce, a jigger is 1.5 fluid ounces, a wine glass is 2 ounces. But in this particular recipe, it just gives me ratios, 2/5, 2/5, 1/5, and I'm like, okay, well, how much are we gonna put in? It's pretty much left up to our discretion at that point, and we can just go with 1 part to 1 part to a half part is essentially how we're going to go about this. So I don't want to get super tipsy off of this cocktail, so we're going to stick with about 1.5 ounces each of liquor. So we're going to put in 1.5 ounces of Russian standard vodka for us to start. Now into our jig we go. We're going to pour this in. And of course, like I said, you guys can lessen this. This will come out to about 3 ounces of pure liquor, which means that it's your only drink for the night. Let's be serious, unless you want to have a really rough night afterwards. But we have that as our base. This is going to be followed up by 1.5 ounces or 2/5, 1 part to 1 part of Creme de Cacao. This is a very interesting addition with vodka. Luckily, vodka is a great mixer, so we don't have to really worry about these two combating each other for flavor. But it will be interesting to see how they play with the next ingredient in our list, which is going to be a half part, or essentially for us, 3/4 of an ounce of lemon juice. Very interesting combination. Sometimes I wonder with these old recipes is whether or not they actually just utilized the ingredients that they had at the time. Now, I have misplaced somehow my my press, but that's okay. We have our hands, so we can use our hands and just squeeze this directly into our jig. Now, I'm going to put this over my shaker. That way I don't get it all over everything everywhere. We still are a little bit. The other thing we can do is we could just do this. Squeeze it into the glass. We have a little bit in our jig anyway right now. You can throw your other hand under there to catch the pulp. Really all we're trying to do is just to make sure we get out as much juice as possible and as little pulp into our drink. Now, generally, a nice citrus press is preferred, but I've misplaced mine. But that's okay. I will find it later. So I'm going to pour out the rest of the juice into my jig. This comes out to about a ½ ounce or a quarter of a lemon. I think that will do okay for what we're trying to do. After all, we put in 1½ ounces, so we could put in a little bit more lemon juice if we so desire. In fact, I'm actually going to squeeze out the rest of my lemon here, and that way we have some of the right proportions that they're asking for. So we're just going to squeeze it all out into there. Don't worry, my hands are washed. You're also not drinking this, so what do you care? But I am a hygienic person, so that's why you care. There we go. We've got a good amount of juice in there, and now we just need about a quarter ounce. That's about a quarter ounce, and we throw that on in. Now, mind you, lemon juice is going to be very potent, very powerful. You don't want to overdo it on this particular cocktail, especially with the ingredients that we have going into it. So I think at 3/4 of an ounce, we're perfectly at half a part. And then the last thing it calls for is a dash or 1/3 of a teaspoon of grenadine. Now we're using homemade grenadine. This includes pomegranate molasses, which has actually date, I believe it's date juice in it, which is very interesting, or a date puree along with pomegranate juice. It tastes fantastic. It's really, really good. I highly recommend you guys try making your own grenadine if you ever get a chance at home. It's essentially just comes down to pomegranate / date, a simple syrup. So we're going to put in 1/3 of a teaspoon. There we go, and pour that on in. Just a little additional sweetness, and also this will help the color as well. Lastly, what we're going to do is we're going to take some ice, we're going to throw this in and give it a shake. Now, mind you, with most cocktails, if they're just straight up liquor, then you don't want to shake them, you want to stir them. But considering we have lemon juice in here, we have some grenadine, we also have a little creme de cacao, this will be fine to shake. So we're going to throw on the top of our shaker here and give it a shake. Oh yeah. That's wait. There we go. It was like a negotiation there to get it out. It was saying, I don't want to come out. Now it's saying you have to. Now we have our shaker all done. We're going to take our glass and we're going to pour out our water here. It's nice and chilled. Beautiful frostiness. And now we are going to take our strainer and strain into our glass. Oh yeah. You know, this reminds me a lot of Coke. Looks like a Coke. So probably garnish this with a lemon twist if you like, or if you want to garnish it with any type of fruit or even chocolate, honestly. If you want to throw in some chocolate in there, that will do well as well. But I'm not really certain what will work here with the color. Maybe stick with like a chocolate bar or something. I don't know. We're just going to drink it as is. It looks really cool. Like I said, it reminds me so much of Coke. It smells really interesting. Almost anise-like, because the lemon juice and the chocolate are combining. So you've got citrus and sweet fighting for dominance here. But all right, let's give it a taste. Some of these recipes are interesting. Some of them are really, really good, classics, obviously. They've continued throughout the ages into our modern day. This one just perplexes me because it's not bad, but there's a reason why we don't see a lot of recipes with chocolate and lemon, and I think this is why. You have the tartness of the lemon immediately up front, and it's followed by the sweetness of the chocolate. It's not bad. It just has an identity crisis. I mean, I could drink that all day, no lie. It's very refreshing. The citrus is really good in terms of getting you to come back to it, and the chocolate it takes away from the tart. So it's a very easy to drink. It's just so weird. I've never had a lemon and chocolate drink before. This one works. I really think so. I really think it works. If I had to rate this out of 10, I'd give it like probably a 6.5 to a 7. like I said, very drinkable, just very, very odd. Give it a try for yourselves, really, it's worth it. Honestly, I'm not joking with you guys. If you don't like lemons, then maybe not, but if you do, give it a try. But from all of us here at Top Shelf, cheers.